Welcome to the May 2025 Coffee with Kehoe. So we have a great episode for you. We're on the verge of heading to NASCIO for mid-year conference next week, which should be very exciting. Where I'm sure we'll have a lot of discussions around the NASCIO Top 10, which have been quite the discussion item for Coffee with Kehoe, hence my NASCIO coffee cup, which I take a lot of pride in. But today we have a special guest for Coffee with Kehoe, Daniella Byrd. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill.
And she is, let me get this right, Assistant Director of Computing Services for Technology and Operations Division.
You got it right.
Is that right?
All right. Yeah, that's close enough.
Fantastic.
I'll let you slide.
I was a little worried I was going to get that wrong. But we are so fortunate to have you at WATEC.
Thank you.
As one of our shining stars, new hires. And we're so fortunate that I said, I want to get Daniella on Coffee with Kehoe because apparently you mentioned this during your interview or something.
Did I? I mean, I did come for the coffee. I stayed for the mission, but I came for the coffee.
Yeah. So you're a regular viewer of Coffee with Kehoe.
I am. Have been an avid watcher.
Yes. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes. And today we're going to be talking about a really important topic for states across the country and government in general, which is how do we build a high-performing workforce in government? And we're going to ask you all kinds of questions about why you chose government, what's important to you as an employee, as a person. I know you have a family and all those things. So I think this will be a great conversation. So since this Coffee with Kehoe reaches far and wide across the country, I know we have interested leaders that, there's this perception that, why would somebody want to go work for government, right? Especially now where there's a lot of negativity around government. And so I'm interested, since you did go to the private sector, right? When it came time to, and sounds like you did a lot of great research, when it came down to, I want to go back and serve in government. What was that thought process like? What drove you back to government, given, what you hear around, certain segments of the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I wouldn't have stayed as long in private sector if I wasn't doing the work that I was doing, because the work that I was doing, I had 45 individual states as my clients, including Washington.
You were doing Medicaid.
I was. Medicaid funding services.
Yes.
And financial and information systems. So it kept me close enough that I felt still connected to that kind of cornerstone of service that I've always had. But you spend enough time in the private sector and you go through a lot of experiences. And I really believe if you can make it there, you can pretty much make it anywhere.
Song about that.
I think don't make me break out into song. I already have a hard enough time not doing that.
I think that's a Sinatra song.
Okay. I won't do it.
I might have to, but go ahead.
It's okay. I'll join in with you. I absolutely will. I would say that 8-9 years was a long journey, and it was a personal decision because life became more about time than money. And not to get too detailed, but I have an older son. He's 14. And I'll never forget the night that I really decided. I was cooking spaghetti. I cook almost every night. And he comes in the kitchen, and I'm not looking at him, but I hear, "Mom." And this
that
voice.
Sounds like a 14-year-old.
This voice I had not heard before.
Right.
And then I looked at him, and there was this little mustache peeking out. And I looked at my firstborn, And I said, I've been missing this.
Mm.
Like, I am always at all their events and a very in tune mom, but there's something different about being able to slow down and really enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had all the things that they wanted and things that they needed. We were able to serve the community in other ways, but life became bigger than money to me. And right now, where we are in general, I needed to give back, and I needed to find a way to do it with people with like minds and like energy and like passions. And I'm very happy with that choice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you think that, there's a lot of skepticism out there that people like yourself that have made that thoughtful decision, that there's not many people like that. Do you think that others are thinking that same way? Because you can go to work for a lot of different tech companies in Washington. We've got them all here. And when you come to work for a government, that's a choice. Do you think there's others that are in that mindset of, hey, I want to serve, I want to help my community, I want that better balance maybe in my life?
I know there are, and I hope there are more.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you look around, and if you're focused on your community and other states and people, if you're people focused first, I hope we're all asking ourselves those type of questions. I think we're out here, we're speckled in between, and I think as we continue to see times change and technology change and operations change, there'll be more influx of that. But I think and hope that people are asking themselves the important questions.
Right. So, a next question for you is, when you look at an organization that you potentially want to work in, what are you looking for? What kind of culture, characteristics, values? What are you looking for? I think we all want to know that, so we can attract leaders to our organizations, like yourself. But what are you looking at? So for others that are listening today, is like, what kind of culture would draw people like you to WATEC and government?
That's a great question. I think WATEC's doing a pretty good job there.
We're always looking to improve.
I hear you.
But,
I had some other opportunities as well. I chose WATEC. And I chose WATEC specifically for the vast purview of support that WATEC provides. I chose WATEC for the focus on transformation, digital transformation, and equity and access. I chose WATEC also because my original focus and first love was political science, but also multicultural studies. And I learned a lot about myself in many ways. And that it continues to be one of the pillars here. Focus on that.
Definitely.
And it's been determined to be a vital need. And I think it touches so many people. Also, it wasn't just what was on the front page for WATEC. There were other things WATEC had to do. And it was that interview and meeting the leaders of WATEC, and really feeling a kinship in the sense of having like minds and like purpose, and having excitement towards what's next. I felt that in both of my experiences during the interview process. And there was also a really high touch in the recruitment process as well. I never felt in the dark. I never felt as if I had to guess. There was just a really vetted process here. And it just intrigued me, and I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to learn more. And then I'm also here to do cool things, and WATEC's been doing cool things. So I read the strategic plan and all of those powerful 3,000 voices and ideas to come with this articulated plan. Did you hear that? We
spent a lot of time on our strategic plan.
A lot of time.
And
well done.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Well done.
Because people think, oh, strategic plan, what do? You build one and you put it on the shelf, right?
No, you were
See,
able
we had
to
somebody read it.
draw. I definitely read it a couple
Yeah.
times. But also all of the strategic plans that we have across our services, and very excited for resident portal. And I just think it's really, I want to be a part of what's on the cutting edge as it relates to government service, which can look very different than private sector. And I wanted to be a part of it.
Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So what advice would you give people? Let's say you were mentoring a young person, or mentoring anyone. Doesn't have to be a young person.
Okay.
And they were trying to find their way in their career, right? What would you say to them about the opportunity to work in government, how that could benefit them in the long run, even if they don't stay with government potentially?
What advice would I give them? Yeah. I would recommend that they know policy and that they follow it. Because I think that can uncover where passion is. You know, everybody's not passionate about everything that's happening in the state, but there are areas that you might find relatable to you or important to you.
Is there whole diverse agencies?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
All serving different people with different needs. So I think early inundation into that is definitely what had me, my first job in the state. I wanted to work in higher education because it was such a important part of my journey. And without the leaders that I came across, I mean, I lived on campus at Evergreen, and we put on events, and we really made this robust and vibrant place to be. And I wanted to do that for other students because there are students that don't have family support, or they don't have a place to live. I mean, you have students all different walks of life. So that was where my passion came. But I would encourage them to follow legislation, to try to find what they may want to start in. And even if it's not a specific area, is it communications? Is it operations? Is it technical solutions? Is it risk management? Like, what really drives you and brings good ideas from you? And then hone in on it. I think that government service is a great place to be, but any place you work, you have your own challenges within it, and you have to be steadfast. And I think as long as you're focused on people first, honestly, always having that humanistic approach in all of your interactions and how you think and how you apply and change things, you'll be okay. But I would encourage them not to let things dissuade them. Really just stay focused, because it should come within. I think most of us that are here is because we have this really deep drive to serve. So that's something we all have in common. But
yes.
I would tell them know it first and then get into it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great advice. Okay. So we have a goal, which you probably read multiple times, goal 4 of our IT enterprise plan, which is near and dear to my heart because I'm leading that team with our Deputy Director of Office of Financial Management. And it is the goal about workforce and how important that is to build workforce, but not just to build it, but to retain workforce.
Right.
Because part of that goal is we want to have the best workforce ever. Now it sounds kind of corny. People kind of go, oh yeah, okay. But hey, if you don't have that goal, what do you have, right?
Right.
And so I think we're trying to build that with people like you coming into the state. We're well on our way. But there's the retention piece, right? Once we get good people in, how do we retain them, right? And so when you think about your journey, what can we do in government to increase the retention so we're not losing people quickly or too quickly?
Yeah.
How can we take care of our employees or give them a culture or whatever it may be? What are some things that you can think would really be important to you?
Yeah, I think first it starts with modeling by leadership I think that a powerful and focused leader can really captivate most people because you feel a connection as far as things that are important to our state, things that we should be striving for and working towards. I feel like that also distills down into the day-to-day workings. Having a leader that knows who you are, knows what's important to you, knows about your family, knows about your passions. Most people will work alongside each other if there's that camaraderie there.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It breeds happiness, and it also enhances connection. And even the other day, I was laughing with my mom because I was getting ready for work, and I was doing my thing, and then I was like, wait a second, am I excited? Am I excited to go to work?
Oh, I hope so.
I hadn't felt that in so many years.
Yeah.
Just that getting up in the morning and excited for what was on the docket that day, and knowing I had leadership to back up and a team that is so wonderful and driven to do the right thing. When it comes to retaining people, we have to know the people that are doing the work.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that their lives feel balanced, that they feel seen, that they feel heard, acknowledged, that we are communicating and being transparent in the why, not just the do this, but the why this is important. And also, I guess, trying to drive out other ideas. I think it's easy to do top-down leadership, but normally you're not going to make it far with that.
Right.
You have to get buy-in, and buy-in is not just about people that will travel that journey with you. It is about understanding their experience in it. They're the ones on the front line doing the details and down in the weeds of it. So trusting them, showing them that you trust their feedback and you acknowledge it, and incorporating that into what you're doing, I think helps retain. I think attrition can be natural in some ways, but it's also can be looked at as a beautiful journey. We have people across our teams from different walks of life and different generations, and it is this beautiful cycle. If you really own it as a servant leader and as a servant of the state, you can really look at it like that. I think you've said it a couple of times in your keynote at the forum, but leaving better than you found it, right? And there's something really inspirational about that. I think if we keep that at our core focus and we model as leaders, that's where we want. That's what we want to be, is really that continuation of services and a seamless, really seamless transition through all of those things. So retention is hard, especially today.
I love your answer. Care about the people, get to know them, involve them. You didn't mention being challenged, but I think that's important too.
Yes.
If you're learning and being challenged, I think that piques people's interest. You don't want to be bored at work.
No.
We usually have more work than time in the day here. So I think that's important. Just investing in people, right? Caring about people. And I think that's what we're trying to do at WATEC, is create that family culture. But people are accountable to doing good work too,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one last question, because we could probably talk way more than Coffee with Kehoe is allowed to be on the air. But what do you see as the future of, when you think about how important flexibility is to you? You have a family. Obviously, your parents live here and everything else. But how important is remote work, and how important is flexibility to you when you come to a new organization?
I would say it's essential at this point where we are. COVID definitely, I think, tipped all of us over. And you saw this amazing mobilization. I mean, departments completely coming together to make sure that their team members were at home safe and were also able to remain working. And it's been 5 years now. But I think now more than ever, we can't ignore the positive benefits that we've seen
Mm-hmm.
in productivity and work-life balance and children being able to be home
Yeah.
versus in daycares. And even if they have to go to childcare options, parents having the flexibility to be at their side in a moment's notice, having that support. If you have a family or even personalities, we're all different. I have some team members that were extroverts and they were not doing well
Yeah.
when we were all at home.
True story.
And then I have other team members that were introverts and were like, hallelujah. They were
Best
so
thing-
excited.
best
Best
thing
thing that
ever.
could have ever happened.
Yeah.
And so both ways, we had to get creative as leaders and we had to find ways to stimulate all of our team members. But that flexibility in being able to work remote, to not feel guilty that every day you may not be able to show up in the same ways, I think is really important. It's definitely a decision maker for me. I love being 4 minutes away from the office and coming in. It's really nice to stretch my legs and to see other people than my dog. So I really enjoy both.
Yeah.
But I love the flexibility that as a mom, if my children are unwell or if they have a school event that my leadership supports, I've heard it probably 10 times, if not more, since I started at WATEC. Family first.
Family first.
Family
Absolutely.
first.
Yeah.
And it's truly a weight lifted.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way. I think we have to, if we're going to change it, we have to kind of dig down into the whys, you know, but when we look at it, if we're looking at it from a data standpoint, productivity improves when people are happy and have flexibility and feel that they can live their lives and work
Yeah.
at the same time.
Even if we wanted to, we don't have any more space. There is that.
Not one more cubicle, huh?
No, I mean, it's just, yeah.
Packed.
So there you go. Looks like we're stuck. We're working remote. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Really
me.
enjoyed having you and great, thoughtful answers. And I think a lot of folks are going to benefit from your insight. So thank you.
I'm honored to be a part of
And
this.
it's great to have you as part of WATAC. And we're very fortunate.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that wraps up our May 2025 Coffee with Kehoe.
Whoop, whoop.
We expect that this will be a very well viewed episode and can't wait to get back together with you in June. Thank you.